Shirts available on our website. Go to britishstand.com or check the link in the description. And hello everybody, welcome back to British Stand, guys. We've got a chaotic story to be going over you today, as of course you can read there in the title. It does look as though someone has been attacked and stabbed, that of course sadly being a teenager. We've got the video footage of this incident, of course had to patch it up due to YouTube's terms. We've got that. We've also got the fallout from this incident, as there was an armed police filling this sort of small suburban area within the UK, as there was a standoff for 6 hours as they made an arrest due to someone being armed with a gun. A lot of chaos in Carshalton, just by Sutton. Quite a lot of stuff to go through with you, and yes, I'm going to attempt doing this now in today's live stream. This is a breaking story, guys, so some more information is just going to keep on emerging, but let me try my best. Let's go through what we currently know at this moment in time. Now, police and ambulances responded to a scene here in Carshalton this morning. An air ambulance had been sent to the scene of a stabbing in the area as a teenager is in an unknown condition. Police were called around 11:30 a.m. this morning with reports of an incident. Officers attended with colleagues from the London Ambulance Service and London's Air Ambulance, and the air ambulance landed on the Green, an area of open space near to the incident. A teenage boy was found with stab wounds at the scene, with a police spokesperson confirming his age as 17 years old. He has been taken to hospital where his condition is currently unknown. Now, local business people have talked about the horror of the scenes, of course, and we do have a video to show of this particular incident, which I'm going to show to you now. So that's the footage of the incident, and of course, again, this was of course circulating social media, and as I said, we got the reports earlier on today that there had been a stabbing on the Green. However, there's a bit more to this story, and unless this is a complete different incident, and this small suburban town, of course, or village it even looks like, has just been having two separate incidents, we can only seem to think by the sources that I'm going off at this moment in time that it is correlated, as following this, armed police started to emerge literally next to the incident place. And according to reports, a tense 6-hour siege of a house on a usually quiet residential street appeared to have come to an end by mid-afternoon, as police emerged with a man in handcuffs under arrest. According to the Metropolitan Police, they responded to reports this morning of an assault, which I suspect is of course that stabbing, and called in specialist support when a suspect appeared to be armed. By around 3 p.m, a man was arrested with no reports of serious injuries and what is believed to be an imitation firearm taken away for examination. An estimated 20 specially trained police, many of them armed, some accompanied by police dogs, had been surrounding a house on Bramwellwood Close just off Buckhurst Avenue since not long after 9 a.m. So 6 hours at the current scene, and of course they did emerge with this individual afterwards. So this looks like it is correlated, but I can't necessarily confirm it's correlated at the time of recording due to the information that we've been currently been given. However, again, if you're reading in between the lines there, they responded to an incident this morning, which was that stabbing, of course, and then were in a 6-hour siege outside a house, literally around the corner, looking to arrest an individual. Now, as stated, the man of arrest was East Asian appearance, wearing spectacles with black hair and of a medium height, dressed in a black zip-up nylon jacket and black cargo trousers. So we've got a full, detailed explanation of what he looks like. In a statement, the Metropolitan Police said police were called at approximately 8:45 hours on Thursday, the 30th of January, after reports of a person assaulted inside an address in Bramwellwood Close, Carshalton, were received. Officers who initially responded to the scene requested specialist armed officers attended after a male at the address produced an apparent firearm. A firearm which is believed to be an imitation was recovered from the scene and will be taken away from examination. There are no reports of any serious injuries. Cordons will remain in place by the time being while investigation is underway. So you can see why I'm slightly confused by the statement we've been given there. So it's either this is correlated, literally right next to each other, so you would assume it's correlated, or it could be a separate incident. Again, I'm not too sure. I mean, if you look at the individual carrying out that attack in the video, he does look different to the description of course, this person that's been arrested. So I'm not too sure at the time of recording, and neither does any of the sources, statements that we've been currently given, if this was a separate incident. But again, if we're looking at it, it's a correlation between definitely the times of the assault. They were recalled to Carshalton on the assault. Bearing in mind, this is literally on the same road, so I'm presuming so. They were reported to a serious assault on there, stabbing, and then of course we're under a 6-hour siege with armed police and this individual who was armed, who then got arrested. So again, I can't confirm that yet, but I will follow up and see if there's any more information we have on it. But shocking scenes in this small suburban town, of course, in Carshalton. Again, a lot of locals very much shook up by the incident and have never seen anything like that in their life around the area. So, of course, incident, and of course this armed police response. So yeah, quite a lot of there to digest. We've gone through quite a lot of information with regard to this situation, but of course my prayers are with the individual that has currently been attacked in this incident. Of course, more stabbings within the country. And now I don't want to sound like a broken record player, but of course there is an epidemic going on in this country, and it doesn't show any signs of slowing down anytime soon. It's just constant, and we're just seeing it time and time again within this country, and something needs to be sorted out around it. Again, that is all the information I have on this incident at the time of recording, but it's still breaking, and this individual has only just been arrested. We'll find out if they're correlated, which I presume they are, but again, I can't confirm or deny that just yet. Let's go into the live chat, guys. Let's see what people are saying. Get your reaction down there in the comment section below, and let's see what everybody is thinking. John Clark, rightfully so, correcting me on my pronunciation of the name. Apologies there. I try my best. In fact, I googled it to try and find the pronunciation, and they were saying Carshalton. Okay, Carshalton. It looks as though it is. It was either that or Carshalton. Sorry for the unprofessionalism there. Again, I was a little bit confused. Thank you for correcting me. Chris Laurie says, when will it ever end? Again, when the authorities, the right people in place, actually come out and make a difference. Again, it's got nothing to do with knife sales. It's got nothing to do with that. It's simply down to education. And I'll always bring it up, and I'll continue to bring it up every time these incidents happen. Switzerland is a country within Europe that has the most guns per capita in the whole of the world. Again, every single man there is military trained, and every household has a gun inside it, which could be used as a weapon. Now, the issue is, Switzerland, of course, does have a little bit of crime like everywhere else does. You can't get a perfect place in the world. However, they do have the right education that doesn't make these incidents happen. These incidents don't occur in Switzerland, despite every man being armed. So it's not the weapons problem, it's not the knives problem, it's nothing to do with that. It's merely due to education. Education from a very young age, and again, you could also put migration into that equation as well, or controlled migration into that equation as well. A very, very well-run country is Switzerland, and again, something that I like to see the UK model itself after. Not just the natural beauty, but the way that it's such a civilized place to live, and weapons are not blamed for these outrageous crimes in that country. Let's go through some more here again. Let's have a little look. There's a lot there, yeah. Terry Rist says a minimum 5 years for carrying a knife ban, carrying any type of knife. I mean, that's a deterrent. You've always got to have deterrents in place, most certainly. You're absolutely correct. And having a deterrent in place will, of course, or a big deterrent like that will, of course, see things and people carrying knives and carrying weapons and offensive weapons come down dramatically, especially if there's stop and searches going on and about. But either way, there's always a way. And it's above our pay grade, but all of us here are speaking and saying what we would do. There is loads of examples within or countries that are close to us, as I mentioned there with regard to Switzerland. There is countries that are very, very close to us that have a lot more weapons and don't have crime rates as such as us. So you have to diagnose it. You need to find where the issue is, whether that be the education, whether that be uncontrolled migration, whether that be this, that, and the other. You need to identify those and then, of course, take action. Massive amounts of action, and it can be done. It can be done. Action can be done, and there is no way you should be blaming it on a weapon or a Amazon or this or that, because as I always say in these incidents when we cover these in live streams, is you go to your kitchen drawer, you can find a weapon to use and use to attack somebody. Regardless, it's not the sales of weapons. We should be identifying with weapons. It needs to be more at the root cause. And people will have their ideas on what that root cause actually is. Let's have a little look here again. My art is saying they have these laws, but they're not being used properly. Well, again, I mean, as I said, I don't know the actual the crime on that. I know if you have a gun or carrying a firearm, of course, that is against the law. And I'm sure the same is with a knife as well. But as you said, there is obviously laws in place. You're not allowed to just cut about with a knife within the United Kingdom. But of course, they don't come down on and don't enforce that law properly, because there's other case studies of other countries being able to do this and do it effectively, which sees them have no crime whatsoever. So yeah, my art is right. I mean, people talking about 5-year sentences and already that, there is already a deterrent in place. It's illegal to be cutting about with weapons. However, they're not really being used properly, as my art says. I mean, someone said, Matthew Lindsay says the Swiss have banned the burqa. I mean, the Swiss do a lot of things right. Genuinely, the Swiss do a lot of things right. And if you're fortunate enough to go to the country, in terms of Switzerland, you will see what is achievable in this modern day world. It's fantastic. Not just the beauty, but generally just being there, you feel so safe. It's a beautiful country. It's really well ran. And to be fair, because I have a Swiss girlfriend, so I'm slightly being biased, but they're probably the only country in the world that don't, probably apart from America now, but even then there's a lot of division there with the left and all these kind of things. But it's the only country where I believe that there's no real animosity towards their government. No one has any care. Everyone's kind of happy with the way the country's being ran. And I think they actually have like 7 prime ministers or something like that. Again, don't quote me on it. I'm not an expert on it. But they have around 7 leaders as such that control the country. And again, their governmental systems is working well. Because as I said, there is no divide as such in Switzerland. Maybe from a surface level, it's a bit different. But of course, my girlfriend is Swiss. And I've been there a good few times in my life, and I really love it. Let's have a little look here more again. Guys, for those of you just tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, of course, there was a knife attack. If you are just tuning in, there was a knife attack in terms of a stabbing earlier on today, which, again, is not breaking news within this country, but it's the fallout from it. Of course, it was caught on footage, but then, of course, armed police, around 20 officers, came into a residential town just outside, or a suburban town, sorry, should I say, in Surrey, in Sutton. Again, a small town, and of course there was a siege and a standoff for around 6 hours between, again, the suspected person that carried out this, but again, it can't be confirmed. There's a lot of missing pieces just now with regard to this case at this moment in time. We'll have to wait for further updates. But again, my understanding is, and whilst I don't want to speculate on ongoing cases, I would say that both of them are linked. I mean, it would be extremely rare odds if it wasn't linked, but we'll have to wait and see with regard to it a little bit later on today. But guys, I'm not going to take any more of your time. If you are just tuning in, make sure you do go back, watch it. We showed all the footage in the first part of the video, spoke about the incident today. But thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back live later. If you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll be back for further updates as the day goes on. Thank you, and I'll see you all next time.